Indian Constitution and Education, Module 2. The Preamble and its connection to education. The Preamble is the introduction to the Constitution. It reflects the vision of the Constitution makers and sets the tone for the laws and policies that follows. It declares India as sovereign. India is free to make its own decisions, including in matters of education. Socialist aims for equitable distribution of resources in education. This means ensuring equal opportunity and reducing disparities. Secular education must be neutral and respectful towards all religions. No religious instruction is imposed in state-funded schools. Democratic encourages participation, dialogue, and critical thinking, qualities nurtured through a good education system. Republic. No hereditary rulers. Leadership is based on merit and public choice, which again depends on an informed and educated citizenry. It aims to secure all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. Education helps justice. Education helps promote social justice by empowering marginalized groups. Liberty. Education supports freedom of thought, expression, and belief. Equality. Through equal educational opportunities, the nation can reduce social and economic inequalities. Fraternity. Education helps in building national unity and mutual respect among diverse communities. Thus, even though education is not directly mentioned in the preamble, all its goal can be achieved only through a strong, inclusive educational system. Fundamental rights and education. Fundamental rights and education. The fundamental rights are the most important rights guaranteed to all citizens. They are enforced by the courts, meaning if a person's right is denied, they can go to court. Key rights that impact education. Article 21A, added by the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, make free and compulsory education a fundamental right for children aged 6 to 14 years. This led to the Right to Education Act RTE 2009, which sets norms of school infrastructure, teacher-student ratios, and prohibits capitation fees and screening tests. Next, Article 14. Article 14. Equality before the law guarantees that no child is denied access to education based on caste, religion, gender, or economic background. Supports non-discriminatory practices in schools and institutions. Article 51, Article 15, 4. Article 15.1 and 15.4. Special provisions for advancement of backward classes allows the government to create reservations and special education schemes for socially and educationally backward classes, SCs, STs, and OBCs, aims to correct historical injustices. Article 19.1a, freedom of speech and expression, encourages the free flow of ideas, which is central to quality education. Article 30. Article 30. Rights to rights of minorities to establish and administer education institutions, allows linguistic and religious minorities to preserve their culture by establishing their own educational institutions. Directive principles of state policy and education. The directive principles are not legally enforced but are considered essential for the country's governance. They guide the central and state governments in framing policies. Relevant directives for education. Article 41. Article 41. Right to work, education and assistance. Promotes the state's role in securing the right to education for all, especially the unemployed or disabled. Article 45. Early childhood care education. Originally aimed to provide free and compulsory education up to the age of 14. Modified by the 86th Amendment by focus on early childhood care and education for children below the age of 6. Article 46. Promotion of educational interest of SC/STs and weaker section. Direct the state to promote education among disadvantaged communities to ensure social justice and upliftment. This has led to scholarships, midday meals, hostels, and reservation policies. So, the Indian Constitution provides a strong moral and legal framework for developing a just, equitable, and inclusive educational system. The preamble sets the national vision. The fundamental rights provide enforceable protections and guarantees. The directive principles offers a roadmap for long-term educational goals. This framework ensures that education is not just a policy matter but a national commitment to building a better society. So the Indian Constitution provides a strong foundation for the development of education in the country. The preamble outlines the values education helps to achieve. The fundamental rights ensure access and equality in education. The directive principles guide the state to expand and improve the educational system, especially for marginalized groups. Duties of citizens. What are fundamental duties? Fundamental duties are moral obligations laid down in the Indian Constitution. They are found in Article 51A, Part 4A. While fundamental rights are what the government must do for citizens, fundamental duties are what citizens must do for the country. Added by the 42nd Amendment 1976 and expanded by the 86th Amendment 2002, there are 11 duties. The fundamental duties of citizens are listed in Article 51A of the Indian Constitution. These were added by the 42nd Amendment Act 1976, inspired by the Constitution of the former USSR. They remind citizens that while they enjoy rights, they also have responsibilities. Currently, there are 11 fundamental duties. Respect the Constitution, national flag, and national anthem. Be loyal to the Constitution and respect national symbols. Example, standing respectfully during the national anthem, not defacing the flag. In education, taught in school assemblies and civic lessons. To abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem. Follow the ideals of the freedom struggle. To cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspired by the national freedom struggle. understand and live by the values of Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, Bhagat Singh, and others. Nonviolence, truthfulness, unity in diversity. In education, history and value education promote these ideas. Uphold the unity and integrity of India. Work against divisive tendencies like communalism, casteism, and regionalism. Respecting all religions and languages, not spreading hate. In education, promoted through inclusive curriculum and national integration programs. To defend the country and render national service. Be ready to serve the nation in times of need. Joining the armed forces, volunteering during disasters. In education, NCC, NSS, and disaster management drills prepare students for this. Number 5. Promote harmony and brotherhood. Oppose discrimination. Live peacefully with people of all backgrounds. Helping someone from another community, speaking against social evils like dowry or gender discrimination. In education, group projects and cultural exchange programs foster this. Six, preserve our rich cultural heritage. Respect and learn about Indian art, dance, literature, traditions. Celebrating festivals respectfully, visiting historical monuments. In education, arts and cultural activities in schools highlight these duties. Number 7. Protect the environment and have compassion for living beings. Care for nature and animals. Planting tree, avoiding plastic, feeding birds or stray animals. In education, environmental science, eco club and green campus initiatives. To protect and improve the natural environment including forests, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. Number 8. Develop scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry. Be rational, curious, and open-minded, asking questions, rejecting superstitions, accepting evidence-based truth. To develop scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reforms. In education, science fairs, experiments, critical thinking exercises. 9. Safeguard public property and abjure violence. Protect what belongs to everyone and never encourage violence. No damaging school benches, not writing on walls, peaceful protest. In education, taught as part of moral science and discipline. To safeguard public property and abjure violence. 10. Strive for excellence in all areas. Always try to improve personally and contribute to society, doing your best in studies or profession, helping others improve. In education, emphasize on merit, innovation, creativity, and leadership. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. 11. Provide education to children. Added in 2002. It is a duty of every parent or guardian to send children aged 6 to 14 to school. Enrolling children in school, helping them complete homework, supporting their learning. In education, this duty supports Article 21A, making education both a right and responsibility. Relevance of fundamental duties to education. Why are fundamental duties are important? They create responsible citizens who don't just claim their rights but also contribute to society. They help maintain discipline, harmony, and progress. In schools, they are essential for value based education. They help build national character in youth. Relevance of fundamental duties. Duty 8 encourage the development of scientific temper, critical thinking, and reform oriented mind, core purpose of education. Duty 11 legally binds parents, guardians to ensure children aged 6 to 14 get basic education, linking directly with Article 21A, right to education. Duty 2 and 5 promote patriotic education and social harmony, with schools and educational programs often focus on through value education. Duty 10 motives individuals to excel in their education and work, fostering national development. Importance of fundamental duties. They promote a sense of moral obligation among citizens, help in nation building by reminding everyone of their role in maintaining democratic values, encourage active citizenship, especially among students and youth. Though not legally enforceable like fundamental rights, they can be used to promote civic education and responsible behavior. So, the fundamental duties are essential for the smooth functioning of democracy. When citizens fulfill their duties, especially those related to education, environment, and unity, it leads to a more aware, responsible, and progressive society. They complement the rights and create a balance between freedom and responsibility. Universalization of elementary education. UEE means ensuring that every child in the 6 to 14 age group has access to quality education, attends school regularly, and completes elementary education. Three core aspects of universal elementary education. Universal access. Every child should have a school within reach. Universal enrollment and retention. Every child must be enrolled and continue their schooling till completing. Universal achievement. All children should achieve expected learning outcomes. Historical background. The Indian Constitution, through Directive Principles, Article 45, originally aimed to provide free and compulsory education up to age 14. In 1976, education became a concurrent subject responsibility shared by both the centre and states. Major programs supporting UEE include Operation Blackboard 1987, District Primary Education Program DPP 1994, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan SSA 2001. The idea of UEE was part of various national education policies like National Policy on Education 1986, schemes like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. SSA launched in 2001 laid the groundwork for UEE by expanding school infrastructure, recruiting teachers, and focusing on girls and marginalized group education. Right to Education Act 2009. Constitutional status. The 86th Amendment 2002 added Article 21A. The state shall provide free and compulsory education to all children of age of 6 to 14 years. The RTE Act was passed in 2009 and came into effect on April 1, 2010.
So the RTE Act is a landmark law passed by the Indian Parliament to make UEE legally enforceable. It came into effect on April 1, 2010. Salient features of RTE. Free and compulsory education. Free means no child shall be liable to pay fees or other charges. Compulsory means it is the government's responsibility to ensure children get education. No tuition fees, textbooks, uniform or any other charges for children in government and aided school. It is if a private school is the only option, the government reimburses fees for children from economically weaker sections. Compulsory education. Right to admission. Children can be admitted to age appropriate classes even if they have never been to school or dropped out. The government has a duty to ensure every child gets enrolled, attends school and completes elementary education. Quality standard. Schools must be follow specific norms, infrastructure, pupil teacher ratio, learning equipment. Private schools must meet these standards within 3 years of operation. Age group 6 to 14 years applies to all children within this age bracket across the country. Curriculum and teaching practices. Curriculum must promote holistic development, mental, emotional, physical. No physical punishment or mental harassment allowed. Evaluation through continuous and comprehensive evaluation. No denial of admission. Children cannot be denied admission even if they lack age proof or prior schooling. They are enrolled in age appropriate classes. Teacher and infrastructure norms. The Act specifies the number of teachers per student, availability of basic facilities like toilet, drinking water, classroom, playground, etc. No corporal punishment or discrimination. Promotes a child-friendly, inclusive environment. Teacher-related provision. Teacher must be qualified and professionally trained. Regular assessments of teacher performance. Prohibition of screening test and capitation fees. No child can be denied admission based on test or interview. Private schools cannot charge donation or capitation fees. Curriculum evaluation. Encourages a child-centric and activity-based learning process. Introduce the continuous and comprehensive evaluation process. 25% reservation in private schools. Private aided schools must reserve 25% seats at entry level for children from economically weaker section and disadvantaged groups. Implementation and monitoring. The national and state commissions for protecting of child rights, NCPCR or SCPCR, are responsible for monitoring. School Management Committee, SMCs, comprising parents and local stakeholders are formed to oversee school functioning. Significance. Social justice helps bridge gaps based on caste, class, gender and region. Empowerment. Education empowers individuals and strengthens democracy. Economic growth. A literate population contributes to national development. Constitutional mandate. It fulfills the promise of Article 21A, which ensures the right to education. Challenges in implementation. Lack of adequate infrastructure and trained teachers in rural or remote areas. Resistance from some private institutions to implement the 25% reservation. Quality of education and learning outcome remain a concern. Inconsistent enforcement and awareness in different states. Shortage of trained teachers. Inadequate infrastructure. high dropout rate in some states, especially among girls, poor learning outcome despite high enrollment, resistance from some private schools to 25% reservation. Impact and achievement. Significant improvement in school enrollment, especially among girls and marginalized communities. Increased awareness about the value of education as a right. The Act has pushed for better accountability and infrastructure development. So, in conclusion, the RTE Act 2009 is a milestone in the history of Indian education. It has transformed education from a policy goal to a justifiable legal right. While challenges remain, the framework for achieving universalization of elementary education is firmly in place, combining legal enforcement, policy planning, and community participation. So, the RTE Act 2009 is a powerful tool to make universalization of elementary education a reality. It shifted education from a goal to a legal right, giving every child the opportunity to learn, grow, and build a better future. Three core aspects of universal elementary education. Universal access. Every child between 6 to 14 years should have a school within reachable distance. This includes opening new schools where needed, providing transport or residential facilities in remote areas, removing barriers like poverty, disability, or social discrimination. Universal enrollment and retention. All children should be enrolled in school and continue till they complete elementary education classes 1 to 8. This focus on preventing dropouts, special program for out of school children, bridging gender and caste gaps. Universal quality of education. Ensuring that children not only attend school but also learn effectively. These include qualified and trained teachers, child-friendly curriculum and evaluation, adequate infrastructure and teaching materials. These three aspects together aim to make education inclusive, equitable and meaningful for every child.